Hi there. In this topic, I will talk about how to create taxable transaction or journal in Fusion GL. If you remember in Oracle eBusiness, or if you're still working on Oracle eBusiness Suite, there is one options to create a journals with tax. So you have to set up some things in tax to allow the GL show or give you the option to select the rate code during creation of the GL. It is the same concept but in Fusion, and also there are another benefit of these options, that in case of if you as a company you just purchased a GL without, for example, payables or receivables or whatever's. So in this case you can create a journals within tax or with calculation tax, so by the end of the period or monthly period, daily period, whatever, you can collect the tax which is registered through this period. So let's start to how to implement, then what is the tricky or what is the complete of the setup. After that we will try to upload a new journals with calculating tax, and after that you will have the options, another options to correct whatever the data which is stuck in interface with errors, whatever's, with any reasons, for example, duplicate in the of the transaction number, no rate of tax is defined, this rate is not valid, whatever. So first of thing that I will show you the screenshot. After that I will log in to Oracle to show you what I set up, and we will follow as I told you: setup, create, check the errors, and check the tricky or tips. First of thing that you have to navigate to manage configuration owner tax options. For this manage configuration tax options, you will create a new configuration owner tax. Even if you already set up or you have existing setup of tax, no problem, there is no relation, because in these steps you will see later that we will assign it as a ledger or a legal entity without business unit, because as you know that the security at ledger is ledger or legal entity without business unit. Business unit control or security only for subledgers like payables and receivables. So you just create a new one, and you will select here as a part type as first a party legal entity with STCC as a standard tax classification codes with create accounting, because this create accounting during you create the journals, after that you will upload it or import it. After importing, the system will give you the options that are you going to make a create accounting or not. So this is up to your business requirement. After that you will start by configuration. After that you will follow the same steps for tax as a tax regime. For the tax regime you entered all of the same options, whatever, but here for the configuration options which I told you before, you will select you as your party name with first party legal entity. This is the first point here. After this point regarding first party legal entity, after you complete tax regime, you will go to for tax, assign the same tax regime, and go to tax rule defaults, select bill from applicable and the bill from party, and for tax account. And this is after tax you have to select or complete the setup of tax jurisdiction, status, and rate, either from here, or you can go to manage tax jurisdiction, manage tax status, manage tax rate, and complete it and come back to the tax and make assign the control and the default. Another point here for the tax account, as I told you, this is the first or third trick here that you have to assign the ledger without business unit, because as I told you, business unit means subledgers. Here this is a journal direct in GL, which will the tax will be applicable for you to calculate. So for the tax account, you just assign the ledger without business unit, and you can assign the tax liability account. After that, you just, once you complete the tax regime, tax jurisdiction, status, rate, you as a normal setup of the tax, you have to come again to the tax and enable for simulation and enable for transactions. After you enable this, you will go to try to create your transactions to check the setup, to check the everything. If everything is working okay, it means that your configuration is completed successfully. If you face any issues, you will see depends on the different scenario. So let's get into application. Just I need to, as you know, just go to here, financial setup and maintenance. Just we said manage configuration. Manage configuration owner tax options. I just select the scope, which is your scope, either with what the configuration. I just need to show you what I implemented. Just take care of transaction tax or withholding tax, because transaction tax means transaction tax, withholding mean withholding. So from this way you have the two ways, either to set up or implement transaction tax as a normal or withholding tax. So before to enter or set up or search, you have to select which tax you are going to either search or implement. So if I put that my configuration owner, let me select the application name as a tax, and for example doesn't equal this, doesn't equal this. So here this is my configuration. I just need to show you that first thing you have to select first party legal entity, tax with purchase journal, and here create accounting. This create accounting you will see it later during create the journals within tax. After that, as I told you, just go to tax regime, just write here regime or manage tax regime, and I will show you my tax regime. This is my tax regime. Again, what is the tax regime code, name, country, the regime level, country, county, whatever, start date. What is this precision? This is a normal. Are you going to allow override, allow cross, blah blah blah. Then for configuration, what you have to select first party legal entity with the country of this party name, and common configuration with party, common configuration. This is the regime. After that, you will complete or continue for manage tax. Again, manage tax, you will search. This is my manage tax. You have to assign tax regime, and what is the configuration owner, which is your party name, tax code, name, setup, the same start date of your regime of your tax. You will also put it here, and some options here, allow and allow override, whatever, and tax default. As I told you, for tax rate default, once you complete tax jurisdiction status rate, you can come here to assign the default, or by default it will assign here automatically. But you have to ensure that once you complete these 3 steps after complete the tax configuration, you have to come back to tax for 2 reasons: to check these default values is appearing here for the 3 values, and to enable for simulation and for transaction. The second point here, or tricky for the tax account, I told you assign only ledger without any business unit. Then once you assign the ledger without, the system will ask you to assign tax liability account. Okay, then you can go to tax jurisdiction, this one. Again, you will assign it to regime and tax and whatever. This one, so I will click again. What is the tax regime code, jurisdiction, sorry, name, what is the regime, what is the tax, geography, the same. That's it. After that, you have to go to define what tax status. Come back or up, tax status. The same way you have to create your tax status, and you will assign also regime, tax, dates, this tax status code, name, regime, is it default or what? Because as you know that you can make a lot of status, one default, the others not default, but I created one. After that you have to create the rate. So manage recovery rate and non-recovery rate. This manage tax rate and tax recovery rate. Again, I will search, it will give me tax rate code. I put it as one rate, as a default rate with percentage 10, and here don't assign the jurisdiction code. It's optional, but again, this is another tricky to don't assign the tax jurisdiction code. Again, you have to assign tax, regime, status code, blah blah blah. Okay, after that you will come back to the tax, check the defaults of tax jurisdiction, tax status and tax rate, and enable the tax for here. Enable the tax for what? For simulation and for transactions, after you checked that whatever you defined later for these three values is showing here. Else you can come here, you will find two tabs here to create a new default from here direct without going to manage tax jurisdiction status rate. That's it. So after that you have to there are also another setup here that for this tax rate which you already set up, you have to put it for lookup, because these journals in GL is two type of journals: purchase journals, sales journals. So as you know that we have two tax lookup code for our tax. One is ZX output, the other is ZX input. So for this to manage tax lookup, just I need to take it copy. Here manage tax lookup code. Search by this lookup code and search. You have to assign what? To assign the rate, the theme, what you put it in their tax rate. You have to take copy in code and start date, the same start date of tax regime, status, blah blah blah, and put it meaning and descriptions. For this the output, the other one in the same, but instead of output you will put input. Just search, you will find again this is input. I put the same rate, whatever I define there. So every rate, either for GL journals tax or whatever, you have to put it here, this input and output, which is in payable or receivable. What else we have? So now you can go to general accounting to start to create your journals. From here, just go to journal and journals. You will find their taxable create and correct. I told you before that once you create, in some cases you will face an issue. So how to check the issues? You have to correct taxable. Whatever is uploaded here, you will find it here if is it in stuck status or is the imported or the importing process is completed with error or warning. First of all, create taxable transactions. Just what is the batch name? I will give it name as purchase GV1. What is the event class? There are 4 transactions, either purchase journal or transactions, and the sales journal and the transactions. In case of this is for taxable journal, so I will select purchase journal. For the purchase journal, as you know that the tax will be on debited side. If you select sales, it will be on the credited side. Like AP invoice or AR invoice, if you set up the tax and you create AP invoice, once you make a complete, validate, approved and create accounting either in post or draft, you will find that in AP the tax in the debited side. This is also depends on the transaction time, but in general it will be on debit side. For the sales or AR invoice, you will find the tax on the credit side. The same way here. So what is the ledger? You have to select the ledger which you already defined your tax journals there. Just submit, it will download it FBDI. Once you download it FBDI, just the system will ask you to connect to enter, no problem. I will close. So again, create and purchase GV1, purchase journal. What is the ledger? What is the submit? Download. Try to open, login, and here. Processing, then the Excel will create it now. This is the format of the FBDI of the create, as you see here, create taxable journal. Okay, first of thing is give you the number, what is the date of this transaction, accounting date and first party tax registration number. This first party tax registration number, if you didn't complete the setup of this, the system will give you a list of values with null. So again, you have to complete this setup through the Oracle before creating the journals. So I will show you that if these are slides. Just go to manage tax registration and I can duplicate the tabs, then setup and maintenance, and search by manage tax registration. This one, select the scope, and you can select this is one. So just try to edit. Here you have to put two things. What is the regime, tax regime code, and the registration number. This registration number, which is showing here the same in tax party first party tax registration number. Again, this is without this in Excel. Once you open, you will find a null list of value. Okay. So first of all, that you have to enter the number of these transactions. For example, February 2025. February 2025. What is the date? Because my only January is open, so I will select January and I can put it here and there. What is the description? This is first purchase journal with tax. What is the currency? Conversion date, I will put the same. What is the conversion rate type if you entered any different or foreign currency? What's the line number? I will enter one line. Here there are two types, either line or tax. For example, in case of you need to create one journal with 2 or 3 lines. 2 lines with line type as a line, and the third line is a tax. For this line type of tax, you have to assign the link tax to which line. For example, this line 1, this line 2, and this I select tax. So for this tax amount, I have to put here this tax link to first line or second line or whatever. So I will put that here 20,000. What is the description? Here for any journals you have two accounts, one debit, one credit. As I told you before, for the sales journals the tax will be on the credit side. For the purchase journals, like this case, we defined or the tax will be calculated on the debit side. So will be calculated for this account which you already put it here for debit. For example, also I need to tell you something is here for our column. As you see here, that column E, which is number, this is number of your transactions needed for tax reporting. Because if you don't have tax, if you don't have subledgers or whatever, and you just purchased GL, so this will be the number of your tax reporting. After that, you will find R and S. This is debit and credit, which is there is no subledger here to create balancing entry, so you have to enter the debit and the credit here. For the P and the T, this is tax rate code, which is tax amount is not meant to be inclusive, so tax needed to be either calculated during this import or it could be passed in tax journals. As I told you, that you can select the line type is tax without calculated here. So I will put the debit and put the credit. So select our values of our segments and cost center and account. For example, this one. Okay. What is a credit account? Again, you have to enter the values of your value set. Again, company, cost center and account. Okay. So what is the tax rate? The tax rate here, whatever you define, just double click, it will give you what is your tax rate. I defined it 10 or 10 GL rate. And as you see here, as I told you before, don't assign the rate to the jurisdiction name. Just I select and okay. That's it. So again, you can create 2-3 lines, one line with tax, one line is only for line, and so on. Just I need to try to upload. Just processing to check the validation. Okay, like any FVDI. Just here row inserted successfully. The theme here, as I told you before, asking you, are you going to make a accounting? Accounting means once the import process is succeeded, the system will start to make a create accounting. Either yes or no, up to you, then submit. After you submit, the system will give you what process was submitted. Just come back to Oracle and monitor process to check the status. There are a lot of status. Either warning, either completed, succeeded, either error. So whatever the status will be, you have to download the log file to check the error. As you see here, that import external transaction to the tax is completed successfully. After that, because I told the system to create accounting, system starting to create the accounting here. Again, you can just refresh until everything is okay. There are a lot of issues maybe you face, errors. Just try to open the log file, try to read it. Some of them, as I told you, that no valid rate, so maybe once you define the rate is not populated in the default tax rate in the tax definition page. Some of them, again, as I told you, don't assign the jurisdictions to the tax rate. Some of them, the date of the creation of the tax rate, tax status, whatever, maybe before the tax regime, or inactivate, activate. Also, you have to follow up the steps with take care that what is the regime I created. Is it for first party or what? What is the ledger I already assigned the ledger or the business unit. This is the tricks of this setup of taxable journals. As you see here, that this is our importing succeeded, create accounting is all succeeded. After that, you can come back to general ledger for your journal accounting and journals and go to the same, and but instead of create, you can review Subledger journals. Here, what is the ledger? You will select, and here the journal source is tax. So here the dates of this creation, or the creation date of this transaction. Click search. You will find a lot of journals. You will find our journals here is 22025, which we passed here. So you can just click on it. You will find that non-recoverable tax is calculated, and it is what 10% of the debit account, because this is purchase. In case of sales, it will be on the credit account, which we will create it now. Okay, let me create another transaction for sales. Create taxable and sales GV1. What is the event? I will click sales journals, ledger, and the same. Again, it will download taxable FBDI. So again, try to log in. And the same way, I will enter, for example, 2220252. Okay, description, and here the accounting date, the transaction date, this number of your tax reporting purpose. What is the line number? Again, I will enter, for example, 45,000. Here, because it sells journals, so the tax will be on the credit side. So I will select the same cost center, account, whatever, and I will put the credit and against tax rate code. The same way, but instead of I select the purchase journal, I select the sales journal. Again, okay, and tax rate. What is the tax rate code? Which is start by 10. Go to down, no jurisdiction, okay, and try to upload. System will make the validations. Row inserted successfully, or you need to create the accounting once the import process completed successfully. Yes, and Okay, submitted. Come back to Oracle, process, check the status, and if you face any issues, this imported, running. Once create accounting is appear here, it means inshallah yani it will be ported successfully. Create accounting the same way. Posting, create, sub process, exceptions, blah blah blah. The sub processes of the create accounting process. Once it's completed successfully, you can come back to reviews journals. For sales, you will find the tax on the credit side. Still running. Until it's completed, I just need to show you some of log error. This is for log error which is completed with null. You will find that no VAT flag or event class, so you have to check the VAT, is it succeeded created successfully or whatever. This is another log that you will find that there is no tax was calculated during import process. Again, you have to check the tax rate, is it putted in tax lookup input and output or not, because it's very important or tricky setup. This is just for example for some of error logs of tax import external transactions to the tax repository. Again, once completed, come back to journals, and again same way, review Subledger journals. You will find by parameters, ledger, tax, period, creation date of your transaction, search. You will find our sales transaction tax. You will find, as I told you, tax will be on the credit side, and it is what 10% of the tax account or credit account. This is how to do it. Again, how to use this correct taxable. For example, if you need to create a taxable transactions, test, for example, sales or purchase, purchase journals, again ledger and legal entity, submit, and create, open. For example, I need to create 2 or 3 transactions in the same in one time through one spreadsheet or FBDI. For one of these reasons, for example, I entered 101 20,000 and debit, and this here, this and customer, okay, and credit. For some reasons, if you defined a secondary ledger in a different or reporting currency in a different currencies, and you didn't define the rate or conversion rate between this reporting currency ledger currency and your primary currency. Another reason is that when what I did now, for example, I entered 2 transactions with the same number. The third reason that conversion or the transaction DGL date is in close period. So here the number, for example, I can enter the same and in closed period. So here 30,000, so I can take credit and debit, and here the same rate, and try to upload to try to check is it warning, error, or whatever. Okay, that's it. Again upload, again check the process status. Okay, I will create accounting, yes. Action is failed. Once you click, you must enter a value in line number attributes, because here the system found that this the same number. So either you change this number or here it change, but you cannot change this, because this you can change it in case of you defined a lot of lines. For example, I have one transaction with 3 lines, so I have to enter 101, 101, 101, here 1, 2, 3. Okay, but here this 1 and the same invoice number, so either to change the tax transaction number or keep it here 1, 2, 3, so the system will know that these line numbers all is related to the same transaction number. So if I close, so I can come back to correct taxable. The system will give me batch name. Is it our batch? Let me open, for example, this correct one. Submit. It will download again. Open. And okay, system will ask you to connect. Here 1 there are, for example, 4 transactions, is 2 transaction number with the same name, and here for some reasons there is some issues, and also for this. In case of you need to correct, or there are another options to make a purge. So go to monitor process, there is one purge transactions, so you can purge these transactions. Tax transaction, purge. Cancel. Okay, purge badge tax transactions of tax repository. So I will okay. System will ask you what is that, is it transactionable, taxable transactions or tax simulator, purge unaccounted or not. Here don't path business unit, you have to path what, legal entity. Because of what? Because we defined taxable GL transactions for legal entity. Here the system will ask you what is the batch name. You can search, you can for example put B or whatever, so this is the batch name. So you can click OK. So submit. After submit, the system will give you the status, is it completed successfully or not. After it's completed succeeded, you can come back to the correct. You will not find this batch again, so you can again download the taxable transactions, and if in case of I need to correct, here you will not find this batch again. It means that you purge it. Once you purge it, you can come back again to create taxable transaction in spreadsheets from scratch. What else? That's it. I hope now to got what is the setup required of taxable journals in GL, how to upload, how to check the journals, how to purge, how to check the error log, what is the tricky or the tips of this setup. Good luck. Thanks for watching.